With that being said, we will jump into high view once again. Welcome to the first game in this best of 3 in between Don Artie and Mr. Iaguz. We do have on the left side of the map Iaguz playing as the Mongols in blue, and on the right side is the Rus for Don Artie in red. So, as you would expect, we are going to see the hunting cabin and the scouts coming out for Don Artie. And since the Mongol Khan takes quite a lot of shots to kill the deer, you probably expect to have a second scout coming in as well for Mr. Iaguz. And in fact, he's opening with a stable, not even waiting for a double scout. He just makes a stable and produces it over there.
I don't know if I would agree with that, but he's not only not getting the stone, but he's also paying one for the price of one.
Yeah, that's actually very, very food heavy at the beginning, and now he's getting a second one out. I understand the point that you're not willing to sacrifice villager production to make scouts, but as you said, it's a big investment. You make a stable immediately, you give up on your Ovu even, and you are getting one scout for the price of one scout instead of two scouts for the price of one with the double training.
Yes, and don't forget that the Ovo is 2.5 villagers almost worth of gatherers. So by building the Ovo, you're actually creating villagers that are gathering resources.
With 4 wolves being lured in for Iaguz, he has to be happy with that start. That's 100 gold of bounty that will be taken away from Don Artie. Now, Don Artie doesn't have to be disappointed either. He's got 3 wolves pursuing him, so he's gonna be up to 100 bounty rather swiftly over here. Also has quite a lot of sheep under his TC, and he's killing the huntables on the north. So Don Artie should easily get to like 250, 300 bounty over here, despite all the efforts from Mr. Iaguz.
And this is why I'm telling you that this map is so good with Rus. There's so many wolves. And wolves is like one of the best way to get bounty. Like you find 3 wolves, it's better than a hunt. Taking down a full hunt for the bounty.
And it's
There's
also
so
a lot
many
faster.
Yes, and there's so many in the map. You just hit them once, let them follow. And Don Artie just found another 2 wolves in the middle.
That is just an absolute beauty indeed. 2 more wolves is 50 gold, and he still has an untouched patch of huntables here for 70. This patch of huntables is gone, so is the one on the left, so that's pretty much the wolves and that hunt left for Don Artie, but that should still push him to about 300 bounty over here.
And there's still, I think, a couple of wolves on the map. So if he moves his scout with an A move, he should be able to get them.
All the wolves are done. So what is Iaguz doing now? As we discussed, he invested very heavily into that stable, plus the scouts at the beginning. Now he's going for Gur. Still no Ovu for him. So this is the first time I'm actually seeing a Mongol's gameplay completely without an Ovu.
Exactly. I don't know. I'm speechless. Like, it's already 3 minutes and 30 seconds in the game. And that's a lot of stone that you haven't gathered. That's a lot of resources. At least 200 stone could have been gathered.
Now comes Don Artie with that Golden Gate. And the big problem with surrendering that stone is that this means that you won't be able to do a lot of double training in Feudal Age. It's not like you can just go for feudal aggression with spears and archers because you simply don't have stone to double train. And when it comes to the double training or the unique upgrades of the Mongols, your main bottleneck is always the stone. So the more you delay your Ovu, the more setback you will be in that department.
What are the chances he forgot about the over?
He just said that his Smurf is 15th on the leaderboard. It would be quite embarrassing if the 15th best player in the world would actually forget about the Ovu, which is basically the core element of the Mongols gameplay.
I would agree with that statement, but you never know. Sometimes people just forget things.
Oh, it's like...
I'm pretty sure it happened to all of us, forgetting about something so essential, and then we're like, what did we just do?
Yeah, exactly. It happens to me very often that I just forgot to make army. Oh, look at that. Donati was able to yoink one sheep from behind that Khan, so that's gonna be 5 gold for him as well. Some of the deer were actually killed by the Khans, so Donati is only at 265, but given the fact that Iaguz's build is weird at minimum, I think Donati still has to be satisfied. There is gonna be professional scouts for Iaguz and probably Don Artie as well, indeed. Donati actually has it coming in faster, so he can start stealing hunt from his opponent's side if he wants to. Looks like he's opening with his own hunt here. Do you agree with that? Or do you think it would have been better to just move out and start to yoink some hunt from the opponent?
I think it really depends on the timing of your hunting, of your hunt of your professional scout. So, if my opponent 8-ups later, and actually Rus should always still. I was about to give you like a general answer, but Rus should always get the first hunt from their opponent because they will get professional scout faster than almost all civs. The only civ that can contest the timing of professional scouts is Chinese, but they won't have enough scouts by that time.
With that being said, Don Artie is already selling resources for gold, and the build here seems to be very well streamlined. He's gonna need to mine a tiny bit of gold here, apparently, because you see, he's at 439, which means that 150 gold would mean that he is 11 short of the 600 he needs.
There's still a wolf. If he finds the wolf, he will have enough.
That's true. Oh, it looks like he's just ferrying in deer, so I don't think that he's gonna find that wolf. Looks like he's just pulling the villager away. He now has enough gold for that. Part of that is that the hunting cabin also generates a tiny bit of gold, so
yes,
that helps. Looks like Iaguz is finally in for that Ovu, but you see he's at like 100 stone right now. And his opponent is already ready to click up to Castle Age. There's already the ticket, you sell 100 wood, and you should be good to go into Castle Age with like 10 villagers. Very well executed build here by our red player Donati.
Yep. Really good timing on his aids up. And on the other side, we have Iaguz, who only gathered 150 stone from his ovo at the 8-minute game.
And the problem here is that the Capochs are rather cheap here at the beginning for Don Artie. He's got the eco to make it happen, and when you're facing triple range Capochs with Mongols, you need something that produces units fast, so you want to use that double training. But when you don't have stone, it's very difficult to match the army numbers of your opponent, since you simply don't have double training, as I said.
Yep. If he built the ovo on time, he would probably have around 500 stone in the bank right now. Extra, so he should be at like 700 stone.
Now,
which is a lot of stone to make units.
Good news for Iaguz is that he is not far away from Castle Age either. He will be behind, but his deficit won't be enormous. I still believe that with the relic positions that Don Artie has, he should have at least 2 or 3 safe relics. But Iaguz won't be that much behind in Castle Age timing, and that could be extremely helpful for him. Probably playing Lancer style.
Yeah, actually double stable. I do think, like, after seeing the first game with Meomaika, what was that name? Weird name. The first game that we saw Rus against Mongols. I love those mango dice. I loved having those mango dice behind the Lancers. They got so much value out of the matchup.
Absolutely. That was a nice combination of Lancers and Mangodai being used, but Lancers alone won't be amazing, and part of the reason why Meomaika could make that happen is because he had double training on the Lancers. Lancers are very expensive, so single training you can't really spam them into Cav Archers. You really need that double training, but with 350 stone, and the fact that a single double Lancer costs you 240 stone, it's gonna be very difficult to get a good mass of Lancers going.
Yep. And only Lancers, I don't think they will be able to compensate for the amount of horse archers that we are going to see. Plus the relics.
Indeed, the relics. We already have one relic coming in here, and a second warrior monk is popping out. 3-4 relics should not be an issue here for Artie as he's looping around with the cav archers. Look at this. He's distracting the forces of Iaguz, keeping track of them with the scouts, and he's coming in from the south onto the gold mine. This could be a couple of dead villagers here near the step redoubt. Nice reaction from Iaguz, but that's still going to be -1, 2, 3 villagers are down for Iaguz. Perfect value for Artie.
Yeah. That's why you should always make a cheap outpost next to your gold mine, just to make sure that your opponent it will give you enough time to pull away the villagers if your opponent arrives.
Sacred site being taken on the right side already, so Iaguz will be forced to make a move soon. The scouts will be decimated by the cav archers, and once the scouts are gone, the army for Iaguz is very underwhelming. We're talking about 1 Lancer and 1 Khan.
And look at how fast those Lancers going down without the support of Magudais.
Exactly. Part of the reason why is because you will need the defense upgrades on them desperately. But at this point, it's a matter of numbers. You simply don't have enough Lancers that can take a good engagement, and you don't have any kind of support unit behind that delivers the damage while the Lancers soak up the arrow fire. As we discussed, the key ingredient here is that you need something behind the Lancers that keeps shooting at the cav archers, and that's the Mangadai.
Yep, and you also need the speed from the Yam aura in order to be able to chase them down.
Exactly. I kind of feel like Iaguz is trying to replicate what Meomaika did previously in the day, but it has a much worse unit composition right now, I would say. Given time, he can probably get his Mangadai numbers up as well, but pure Lancers should not work over here.
Yeah, I don't think it would work. It will work. Like, as soon as you have, as soon as the number of the horse archers start to increase, it will be so hard for the Lancers to actually do something. Especially if he gets the... if Artie gets the upgrades for his monks, where they give +2 damage on the horse archers.
Cav archers retreating for the time being. We do have some defense upgrades in for those Lancers. And honestly, for Artie, the best thing would be to snap down that Khan, as a couple of cav archers fall here. But we have to keep in mind that a horse archer is 80 food, 40 gold, or 40 wood, excuse me. And a Lancer is a lot more expensive than that, especially when you use single training, like Iaguz is doing. So
basically, 1 Lancer for 2 horse archers.
Yeah, basically that. So because of that, this fight wasn't really cost efficient for Iaguz. He is secure in the middle with the deer stones, so he's slowly crawling up. But behind this one, you already have 3 relics for Artie, and he is setting up a siege workshop. Probably a couple of springholes will hit the field soon.
I don't necessarily agree with the sprinkles, because it actually makes your army immobile. I would say again what I've said many times in our previous game, scouts. I think if you add scouts to tank damage and take down opponent siege, you would be in such a better position.
Speaking of scouts, look at that hidden scout for Artie in that southern corner. Sees exactly when Iaguz moves out to additional gold mines so he can raid. Iaguz also tried to get a forward hunting cabin up, because now that he has some map control, cabin economy could be a big thing as well. Warrior monks actually sacrificing themselves to tank the charge of the Lancers so that the cav archers can take some shots. Quite a lot of Lancers on the battlefield now by Mr. Iaguz though, so Artie might need to retreat here for a brief moment.
And Artie lost his monks. He lost all of the monks except 1 in that fight. And they're expensive units.
We got approximately 26 cav archers here, some horsemen also hitting the field. But behind this one, we have to consider that there's 3 relics for Artie and a sacred site as well. Get some nice shots on those horsemen for free. Also picks off a Lancer. You really want to focus down that Khan now, because that Khan is the one that gives you the speed boost to chase down those cav archers with.
Wondering why... Actually, he just now... No, never mind. Where is the deer stones? Oh, there it is. He didn't deploy it. He has it there next to the fight, but he didn't deploy it.
Oh, that's a disaster. Lancers will charge in, might take down a springhold, but once again, value lost and value destroyed is still not really favorable for Iaguz. Like, he's been losing so many Lancers, and the Cav Archer numbers just keep growing and growing, and those Cav Archers don't even have good upgrades. They're lacking Boyar's Fortitude, and this will be the moment to snap the Khan. Something that Don Artie tried to do, but the Khan gets away for the time being, with the Yam speed boost now in.
Only one Lancer is alive, the rest are horsemen. He's been mixing horsemen with his units.
The problem with the Horsemen here is that while they are definitely cheaper than Lancers, you need a lot more of them to be efficient against Horse Archers, and now the Horse Archers dive in. Even if it's just 1 or 2 villagers, that's going to be a problem for Iaguz. Losing 2 vills in here. Khan popping that speed arrow, but I feel like at this point Don Artie is more than happy to take this fight here.
Yep, and with the recent nerf on the horsemen, they can't actually tank the damage of horse archers. They die so fast because horse archers are such high DPS unit.
Couple of Springolds also coming in here. The main problem that Iaguz is facing is army numbers. 28 army for Don Artie, only 7 for Iaguz. And many of those are just couple of horsemen battered. And the Deerstones actually gets caught in the middle of the battle. That's a little risky here for Iaguz, as his army is getting chased down. The problem for Iaguz is that his entire food eco is in front of his base and it's about to get raided.
Yep. And he has 6 stables, and all of these stables require a lot of food to make units.
Yeah, he just simply doesn't have the food economy to produce scouts or horsemen on 6 stables. Probably not even 2 stables. Gold miners also getting picked off as the steppered up will get backed up. Way too many villagers going down here for Iaguz. Springgold's also setting up, and at this point, Don Artie shouldn't really be worried about the losses on his army because he's doing way too much damage here for his opponent to handle. Even the warrior monks are coming in to raid the villagers of his opponent. Iaguz is down to 42 population with only 1 military on the field. That's the Khan. As he taps out of the game, Don Artie with a dominant game over here using the Cav Archers.
Hold it.
Very, very nicely done. And we've been talking about the weird approach of Iaguz not having the Ovu out, and the key thing was that the Lancers by themselves were just not enough to deal with the Cav Archers, so Don Artie could just mass up those Cav Archers, and really there was not a single engagement in this game where Iaguz went in as the one having the advantage. It was always him having an uphill battle against those Cav Archer numbers, and he always had to take very, very inefficient engagements.
Yep. I think he should have done something similar like game 1. You need something, even if it's archers. It doesn't have to be Mongol. It might be archers. You send the lancers in order to tank damage and actually do damage if you have the Yam network aura next to you, plus the Khan speed ability. And you need something to be able to shoot from behind. While every time the horse archers hit and attack, you need something to attack them back.